Me, one of the highest ranking, most respected members of GKB.
As far as you find the white boy up, right? As far as you find the white boy up, how did that shit, like, did the police see you do it?
No, man, police ain't see shit. I already told you that, man. Police ain't see shit. Like, that nigga told you, bro. I didn't want to check in. Because when that shit happened, he trying to make a scene he trying to check in. Really, it was a check-in movie, bro.
After you fired him up, he made a scene.
Yeah, he made a scene, man. He made a scene, man. You feel me? Like, that's what they was trying to tell his ass. And they feel me like don't do nothing, just get on the floor. But for him, he was trying to crash. Like he was trying to check in and shit. But you know me, I had to go in anyway. But,
yeah, hell yeah, you gotta stand on the business. So y'all went to the hole, and did you write a grievance?
No, man, I ain't write no grievance, man. I did my time. I did my 120 days.
Yeah.
I did my 120 days.
And then what? The warden came and got you, said that he wrote a grievance?
Yeah, he did wrote a grievance. I seen that grievance, man. He did wrote a motherfucking grievance on me. I seen all that shit, man. I seen that shit, but that nigga wrote a grievance on him.
Yeah, that nigga wrote. Yeah, he wrote a grievance saying you attacked him while he was sitting on his bunk.
On the bunk, yeah, man. Fuck that nigga.
After you fired him up, he picked up a piece of rock and started acting like he wanted to make a scene.
Yeah, but that's what he did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you feel me? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
They watched him fire me up. He did it in front of them while they were watching. See, when my homie popped the Zoe, beat on got two sides. It's open bay. There's no cells. It's bunk beds. There's no cameras. The COs were in B2. My homie popped dude in the head. Boom. Fucked him up. Now he's just laying there, jelly coming out of his shit. When the COs got back in the booth where they can see both of us, that's when dude fired me up. So you fired me up so they could see it, so you could go to confinement to avoid the consequence of staying in the dorm. So they already knew what he did. By the time that I wrote the grievance, he already got found guilty on what happened. So it wasn't they haven't decided yet, we don't know yet. He already got found guilty for this shit. You crashed me in front of the police. There's no debating this shit.
Yo, what's up, people? We is back. Another day on Keep It G News. And today, we got some more information on 1090 Jake, man. And I'm going to take y'all through the process how it all played out, because I was going to stay away from the 1090 Jake fiasco, but I was still a little bit intrigued, And the thing I was most intrigued about is, he posed a claim to be this blood, as you heard him say in the beginning. He supposed to be this blood, so I'm wondering, like, yo, who was vouching for this guy? You understand? Because when I watched one of his interviews on No Jumper, Adam 22, checked it out real briefly, I'm like, yo, what gang would allow this man to be a part of it? Because I can't say I'm being a part of no black gang in Baltimore. That's just me being honest. So I never really knew too much about who 1090 Jake was, what he was about, because I really don't tap into his content. Like, of course I know who he is because he's one of the biggest bloggers doing it. But I don't really dive too deep into that type of content you understand what I'm saying? So I didn't know who he was. I didn't know where he was from. I know he had a Boston accent. I just found out recently he was locked up in Florida because of all this things that just was going on now. So I was wondering who he was and, what he about. And what made me look into this is because I happened to scroll on his Instagram page and, he posted a link to his story to one of his homeboys, said that's his man. So I said, okay, this guy might got the questions that I need answered, just for my own self, and I can maybe bring it to YouTube if it's something important. So I looked into this guy, a guy by the name of Big Hurt. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, these guys are super goofy. So, in this video, we're going to talk about this gang 1090 Jake is supposed to be a part of. They saying he the leader. Maybe he is, maybe he not. That ain't my lane. That ain't my field. We're going to keep that argument to the side. But I wanted to look into this gang, yo, and look into who 1090 Jake is, yo, and where he from. But before I get into all of that and I dive deep into this gang, I want y'all to hear Wack 100 take on this. GKB or GBK gang. You know, it's a blood gang, and it's based out of New York.
Are
Check
you
them out.
familiar with Gorilla Stones?
Nope, never heard of him.
All right.
That's a G nigga. Blast, you been a BSB what, 40 years?
And you know what's so crazy? We tapped in the West. Like,
With who?
Bro, with who?
That
all
part.
right, man. You know what? We not.
Nigga, I ain't giving no nigga credit who
Peace to the
started
God.
following shit. I ain't giving no nigga credit who from a city like that and a state like that, and his whole position is he's the founder of being a follower. Straight up. Fuck that. Nigga, that shit come from over here. Any nigga that's from New York that didn't start some shit that's New York soil, I ain't giving you no.
Like I said, what made me dive into them, once I went to Big Hurt page, I think that's his name, is his story. You know, people not jacking a grievance is a grievance. You know, everybody write grievances in the joint, and you know, people on the joint understand, and y'all wouldn't understand because y'all on the streets. But yo, a lot of people been to prison, man. If you don't know the numbers, a lot of black males have been to prison and know exactly what a grievance is. Now, I ain't gonna dig too deep into grievance in this video, but we know what it is. You know what I mean? You write a grievance on things that's going on in the jail, you know, mistreatment by staff, or, you know, I talked about it before. But with 1090 Jake's situation, it was a little bit different because, yeah, his grievance was referenced around a beating that he witnessed, which is crazy. You know, people don't normally write grievances on beatings they witness. But he mentioned names, you know. That's a red flag. You ain't supposed to be doing that. That's out of line. That's why I played the video I played for y'all in the beginning, because these stories are conflicted. You got 1090 Jake saying one thing, then you got the guy that hit him with the lock or the rock or whatever it was saying another. Now y'all know how I do. The truth is normally in the middle, you know. But I said in the beginning when I heard 1090 Jake's story that it didn't make sense. But what y'all just heard was Wack basically not respecting their gang. And I've spoken on my channel numerous of times how I feel about gang banging. I'm against it. Especially in places like, you know, where it haven't been that long. Now, New York, they've been a staple in the gang faction for a long time. But for what I understand, this G-Shine gang or Gorilla Stone gang is made up. It's fabricated. They never got the vouch from California. Now, have they got it now? Maybe. But if something is rooted in fabrication, then how can it be real? How can it be real? So that's what brings me into 1090 Jake and this whole situation and this crew that he's a part of, these G-Shine gangs in Tampa. You know, because one of the things or the allure that was created about this character of 1090 Jake is he a gangbanger. He been to prison. He's solid. But when you look into Tampa, and my bad, y'all, this is not a shot against Tampa. This is more about 1090 Jake and this crew. You know, because this is where they based out of, from everything I understand. Unless when he came home, he started hanging with a different crew. But 1090 Jake was rapping Tampa, Florida. Now, Tampa, Florida is the 8th safest city, big city in the United States. Very safe. And then you factor, you know, you got states like Baltimore, Detroit, New Orleans, even Atlanta now, dangerous. Even certain parts in Florida, Miami, dangerous. But 1090 Jake is from Tampa. So like I said, I was wondering what gang would allow this man to join. And kind of find out it was this one.
Right now, but next year I'm going protect. A nigga play, he gotta go, that's bottom line. I remember being broke from the bottom, gotta climb.
I'm hoping y'all pull up to my show. It's gonna be lit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all performing tonight. Yeah, I'm about to do the damn thing. I'm about to go in here and get my shit.
Look, I'm about to go in on some more shit. Stop fucking with niggas, them niggas on whole shit. Run up a check, no night. Drink okay. Yeah, I gotta wear sandals around these niggas. Eastside.
Man, we out here LA acting up, man. We at LAX right now, man.
Do I gotta say it again?
Yeah, I gotta wear sandals around these niggas. Eastside.
Man, we out here LA. We out here LA acting up, man. We at LAX right now, man.
Do I gotta say it again? Right, nigga, you can't get left behind, blood.
That's a fact.
Come on, if you're moving right, you can't get left behind, nigga. That's
give me that shit one time. What's going on, man? You ain't double y'all entrepreneurs. Goddamn 1090 Jake. Motherfucking big O-line this bitch. Motherfucking 1090 Jake in this motherfucker. Put my motherfucking lights out, man. Real talk. Yes, sir. That's what all that woman do. Whoa!
So from face masks in the airport, extra goofy, to meetups in parks, yelling out, I guess, gang terminology. Yo, this is crazy to me. And a lot of these guys look like they way too old to be doing that. I would have loved to seen them. We had a situation in Maryland, man, where it was called NBA. It was no Bloods allowed. And Bloods was one of the first gang that hit Maryland. Hit it heavy. But it was causing terror. They was doing too much. So when them other gangs like, let me say, BGF, rose to prominence in the city, man, they wasn't allowing Bloods in the jails at all. None of them. They can only go to certain ones. But when they was coming to the ones they didn't know, you know, you had some people coming to the system and they're not aware of what's going on right now. Man, they was getting rolled up, shipped out, and packaged and delivered. I'm trying to tell you. I guess they call themselves dragging right now, which is a Baltimore term, dragging it, you know what I mean? Going hard, showing off, you know, dragging, that's what we say. But, yo, these guys is looking extra fucking goofy. Extra goofy. Yo, they are gangbanging in the safest city. One of the safest cities in the United States. Who are the ops? Because people is not dying like that in Tampa. Now, every death matters. But we talking about, you got cities where it's 800 murders, 400, 300 murders a year, and you go all the way to Tampa when it's 40. But these guys in 1090 Jacobs presenting these gang members like, you know, they solid, but how solid can you be? Like, who is the ops? Who is the opposition? Who, like, where's the beef? It looked like to me these guys are in Tampa causing havoc and messing up these nice homes, man, bringing the property value down, man. Well, they don't got to do that because that's not the environment that they in. Now, I'm sure it's hoods and ghettos. But I told y'all before, yo, every ghetto and every hood, you know, is layers to this. It's layers to poverty. And these guys, including 1090 Jake, you know, he was presented to the world like he was this gangster from this gangster place and he was doing all this. But it looked like to me, he just is a white kid trying to fit in. Trying to fit in, acting out. And from where he from, it might look like he wild. But this is one of them situations where you only gangster where you from, man. You go outside of your city, and it's like that with most places, but some people really live it. Some states are really like that. And somebody from Tampa will go to, let's say, New Orleans, and be like, yo, this is totally different. Maybe even Broward County in Florida. Like, yo, this is different. This is real trenches. But these guys are perpetrating. And 1090 Jake was allowed to perpetrate on the internet for so long like he was this guy that he wasn't. And it's all coming out now. There's no way that he can be this guy from the 8th safest city in the United States, man. There's no way he can be this gangster. The crime don't speak to it. It don't speak to it. And it looked like to me, though it hasn't happened yet, those guys better be careful, man. Them GKBs or the GKB Tampa Bloods or the GBK, however you pronounce it. Better be careful, man, because it look like to me, it's another situation where, like a 6ix9ine Shotty situation, where they allowed this man into their culture, and now he the head. Because that's what the Fed said. That's what they said in YNW Melly trial. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but it could be. And you see in these videos, these one number, some of these videos may be 2 years old. 1090J still throwing up gang signs. He's still throwing up gang signs. So how is it that he's this big YouTuber and gangbang at the same time that pulls paperwork on other people, when in fact he got paperwork on him? And I just make this video to say this, man. These guys are perpetrating and they frauding, and it look like to me, just me on the outside looking in, that 1090 Jake probably pay a lot of money in dues. But even still, these guys is not what the world is trying to make it out to be. Because like I say, the crime don't speak to it. Yeah, they look the part. They talk the part. They even rap it. But the reality is, 1090 Jake probably fit exactly right in with him. Because I'm sure I'm not the only person that was wondering, like, yo, how is 1090 Jake a gang member? Like, you can look at him, the visual of it. Listen to how he talk. Listen to, you know what I mean? Like, yo, how? Who allowed this to happen? But when you dig deep into the gang and the people that he affiliated with, it make perfect sense to me. Let me know how y'all say about it, man. This is another day of Keep It G News. How do y'all feel about this gang that claimed 1090 Jake, man? And it look like to me they still sticking with him. Even with these allegations, that is true, he told. It's true. It's not a gang. They could try to spin it all they want, but it look like to me, they need him. You know, he probably fund their rap careers. And I'm sure he paying dues. Hefty ones. But like I say, it looked like to me, he fit right in. I couldn't say him being the New York blood. I couldn't say him being the Cali blood, because from everything I know, I never even seen a white blood in my life. Didn't even know it was allowed. But when you slide down south to Tampa and you look at these pictures, it look like it's anybody's invited. Yeah, man. Let me know in the comments, man. Let's keep it G.
Nigga can't do what I do, y'all niggas can't copy me. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep the shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G.